Hello everyone, welcome to Make It Monday. So this month we are going to create a yarn bird. I kind of stuck him in a little bowl here because I was trying to get him to be able to see in the camera. But he's just hooked on a little stick. And so we're going to create that bird and we're going to put him on a little stick. So let's get started. I'm going to set him off to the side. So what you're going to need to choose, actually I'm going to bring him back in the photo here so you can kind of see. You're going to need to choose 3 colors of yarn. You're going to need one that's going to be the head part, the top part of the head and the back part of the body. I suggest a lighter color like a white or a cream or a light tan for the main part of the underbody. And then you're going to need one color for what is going to be the wings. So you need to choose 3 colors of yarn. I would kind of watch the weight of the yarn. You don't want it to be super thick, but anything like this or just your regular standard yarn like this. So you just need to choose 3 colors. So I have 2 pieces of cardboard here. One is going to be used for the body and one is going to be used for the wings. So the body piece measures 4 by 5. I kind of cheated and wrote it on the back. And one is going to measure 3 by 3 3/4 inches. And this is what you need to just wrap your yarn around. So what you're going to do is choose which colors you want for your body and your wings. So the body is going to be this top color, and I've already cut my white just to save some time, and I'm going to use black for the other part of the body. So what you want to do is just wrap this around your cardboard. I'm actually going to set that in my lap so it twists. And you need to wrap it around, for this kind of weight yarn, about 40 times. So that you end up with something that's 3/4 of an inch thick. 3, 4, 6, 7, okay. So I'm just wrapping this around. Kind of watching paint dry. Okay, so that is 40 times. So then I'm just going to cut off my yarn. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut it at the top. Do not cut both ends, just at the top. So I'm just going to slide my scissors underneath here and just cut. So there, I've got my black. And now I need to do my wings, and I'm going to do my wings out of this red. If I can get it to untangle here. Let's see. I guess I should have checked that before I started. Got just a little bit of a knot there. There we go. Okay, so my wing piece is a little bit smaller, but I'm going to do it the same way. I'm just going to wrap it around. Sorry, this takes a little bit of time. And this yarn is a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna grab my ruler here and just kind of check. Nope, I'm still okay. Okay, so that is 40. So I'm going to get rid of that. And again, I'm just going to slide my scissors underneath and cut that so that I have that length. Okay, then the other thing I need to do, which, hang on here, I need to cut 2 extra lengths so that I can tie my pieces together. All right. So I need 2 extra ones of the wing. So I'm going to start at the top and just wrap it around once, back up and clip. And I need to do one more and just wrap it around and clip. And I need to do that same thing for the black. So I'm going to wrap it around and clip. And I need one more piece and clip. Okay, so we're done with our cardboard pieces and our yarn. We can set that aside. And just so you know, I just cut these out of a scrap piece of cardboard. It's corrugated cardboard, so it holds up real well. Okay, so now we've got our 2 extra pieces. Whoop, that goes there. And our 3 colors of yarn. So here is my white. Okay, so we're going to start with the 2 body pieces. We're going to set the wing piece aside for right now. So you've got your 2 lengths and you want to tie it in the middle. So I'm just going to feed my extra piece through underneath. And I'm going to tie. And I'm kind of just using my board as a guide to where the middle is. And you need to tie it in a knot. Okay, and then I just take my 2 ends and I just spread them out, one on each side. And we are going to do the same thing for our black. So I'm just going to slide my piece underneath. And again, I'm going to use my mat as kind of a guide. I got one piece that's straggling there. And I kind of want my pieces to be a little bit even on each side. We'll end up trimming them off at the very end. Okay, and then I kind of just hold that with my finger. And tie it and stretch one end each way. And then we're also going to tie our wing pieces. And it's just easy to tie all of these at one time. So again, these pieces are a little bit shorter. And you're just going to tie them in the center. Again, hold that with your finger. And just tie a knot. And then spread one out on each side. Okay, so we're going to set the wings aside again. Okay, so what we need to do to create the body is you're going to take one piece like that and you're going to lay this piece over the top. Then you're going to take these 2 and draw them together. And then what I like to do is turn it sideways and take these 2 and draw them like that. So the white's going to come out over the top and it's going to go in between the black. And then we need to tie that again. Get that extra piece out of the way there. So you want to tie it close to where they come together. So what I usually do is tie part of the knot, and then you can slide this up just a little bit. Sorry, my hands are getting in the way here a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of slide that up till it really kind of comes up against a bump. And then pull that tight. And again, you're going to tie a knot. Okay, so we got that side tied. Now we need to tie this side. I'm just going to flip it around here. Grab my other extra piece of black. And tie the first part of the knot. And that's pretty close up on top there. Just slide it up a little bit. And hold my finger on there. And if you're doing this with a friend, you can help each other out by holding the pieces together. Whoop, I lost my loop there. Right over the top, and then pull. And then just take your tails and feed them back in with the rest of the yarn. So now you have something that looks like this. So when we create the head of the body, we need a little something in there to make it hold its shape. So all I did is took a piece of printer paper and I cut 1/4 of a sheet, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And we are just going to crumple this up. And then I just kind of roll it in my hands so that it forms just a little bit of a ball. And this does not need to be perfect. And then what we need to do is attach our pipe cleaner. And this is just a 12-inch long pipe cleaner. This is what's going to form his legs and his feet. So we need to actually glue this onto the ball of paper. So what you're going to do is I kind of fold my pipe cleaner in half like this so that it forms a little bit of a loop on top. And then I'm going to take and put a dot of hot glue on the top, and I'm going to glue this to the top of that like this. So let me put a dot of hot glue on here. I'm just going to set that into the hot glue and wrap my pipe cleaner down towards the bottom. Okay, so now we've got that ready to go. Just going to let that cool a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to start forming our bird. I'm going to take and cut a few of these long stragglers that I've got off of the ends. You don't have to trim it up perfectly, I just don't want to have those be in the way. Okay, so we've got our two pieces. The black is going to be the top of the head. So you're going to need to turn this like this so that you've got the white with kind of the opening and the black is straight. And then we need to take our wing pieces, and I'm kind of paying attention to where my knot is. And actually I should pay attention to where my knot is on these too. Oh, I don't think they'll show, so this will be just fine. So we're going to take and put our wings across like this. And then our ball is going to go in here. Actually, I want to turn it this way. I'm right-handed, so this just makes more sense to me. You're going to put the ball with the pipe cleaner attached on top of that with the two opening legs going towards the light yarn. So whatever you're using for the base part of the body, you need those pipe cleaner legs to be facing that direction. So then what happens is you're going to take what's going to be the top and fold it over, which this gets a little complicated. So I'm going to try and do this without my hands totally getting in the way. So that is going to fold over like that. And then what I do is I grab that and the white yarn underneath, and then I pull the pipe cleaner legs down so that it looks kind of like this right now. And then I'm going to gather up my, so basically this is the front, and this is the, oh, did I do that backwards? Hang on. To look at my sample a minute. I did that backwards. Hold on. I've got something facing the wrong direction here. This is what I have wrong. Okay. So I needed the black to be facing this and the V of the white to face that direction. So that's what I had wrong. So now again, whoop, we got to put our wing in there. The beauty of live crafting. But this way you learn from my mistake that it has to be a certain direction. So the black needs to be solid and the white needs to be the V section. And then again, we're going to put our ball in there. Okay, now this time it should work. Yep, that's what I want. So we're going to pull the black over the top of it. And then we're going to gather up the white, leaving the pipe cleaners stick out. And then you have to just kind of manipulate it a little bit. So what you want in the front is it to show like this. You want this white to be a V and the black to be coming out of the V. And then the pipe cleaners to be sticking down. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take your wings. So you've got the black and the white kind of held together in your hand. Then you're going to kind of smooth your wings out, and your wings are going to wrap up and around on top of the black, like that. So you're going to take this side and wrap it up and around on top of the black. And then you just kind of have to maneuver things. So we need the pipe cleaners to go down, and it'll start to take shape. You just have to kind of smooth things with your hands. So just kind of smooth out the body. And then once you kind of have it the way you want, I have found that this is the easiest way to do this. Take either a hairband or a rubber band, and you're going to rubber band it around the tail. It will hold it while you're trying to manipulate things without it coming undone. And the rubber band or the hairband is not going to stay there, but it gives you time to kind of pull your wings up over and tuck the black kind of down underneath. It just allows you to manipulate it until you can get it tied. So then what I'll do is I'll slide this down just a little bit. You don't want to lose any of your strands out the end, so don't pull it down too far, but just something like that so that you have a little bit of ends there, but enough to hold it. So then what we need to do, because birds' legs don't come out of the wing of their body, they come out the bottom. And pipe cleaners are manipulated. You can manipulate them because they're wired. So what I do is I pick up a little bit of that yarn for the base of the body, and about a third of the way down, I tuck that in there so that his legs are actually coming out of his belly, not out of his wing. So I'm going to flip that over and do it on the other side. Just going to take the end. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that. And it's nice to do this while the rubber band is on there, because then you can still cinch things up. Okay, because things get a little bit loose when you do that. So just pull the ends here and you can kind of tighten them up a little bit. Okay, I can pull those just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we've got our feet out the bottom, and we kind of have him manipulated. You can spread this out a little bit. You can spread this out a little bit so it comes down a little bit on each side, and then kind of twist his face a little bit until you get him looking the way you want. So when you're satisfied with the way this is kind of all put together, we're going to take our extra piece of red and we're going to tie it around so that we can remove the hairband. So I like to put my knot on the bottom just so it doesn't show on the top. So I'm going to tie this in front of the hairband. So hopefully you can see that. It's going to go in front of the hairband. And what's nice is the hairband helps hold everything. While you're trying to tie. Okay, so once you have it tied, then you can take the hairband off. So as far as the ends of this, I'm going to just slide this down just a tad. You can take the tie ends and just bring them up to where your red section is and just kind of tuck it underneath that band and pull it in with the rest of the red. So that way you don't have a red piece hanging down on the white belly. But I don't like the knot on top, so I'm just going to bring this up, tuck it underneath, and just pull it. Okay. So now your bird is all tied. Now we have to make his feet. And I'm going to try and do this sideways so that you get a good view of this. Okay. So for his feet, and I'll show you on this one, we're going to start the first bend about an inch down from his body. So about an inch down, I'm going to take and I'm going to bend it straight forward, just like that. And then I'm going to take and make I'm going to make 3 half-inch bends. So just think about like a little 3-prong bend is what we're going to do. So I don't want to get them too big because I have to have enough room to wrap that at the end. So what I do is measure about a 1/2 inch and I will bend it back. So I've got one little bend, and then in the same spot I'm going to bend it again. So that's the start of my second one, and I'm going to bend it again. And then I'm going to bend it a 3rd time so it looks like that. Then I'm going to press it forward so that it's his feet. Then what you're going to do with this little piece is bring it back here and just at that where it would be like the ankle point, just wrap the excess around until you have nothing left. Okay, so then you can separate these a little bit if you want once you've got that wrapped around. And there's his little foot. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Although I think I want to move this down just a little bit more. It's still a little high, I think. And again, the beauty of pipe cleaners, you can manipulate. Okay, so again, we're going to start an inch down. We're going to bend it straight forward. Then we're going to do our 3 little 1/2 inch bends. So actually I want to do them towards the center of his body. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Bring this back to the far side of the pipe cleaner, so hopefully you can see that, and then wrap the excess around that, and that just kind of holds everything together. And then once you do that, then you can bend his little foot forward and manipulate it the way you want. Okay, so we got his little feet on there. The next thing we need to do is add his nose. So what his nose is just a piece of orange pipe cleaner. So what I did is I took a 1 inch piece. So I'm just going to cut that at 1 inch. These are my craft scissors, not my good scissors. And then you're just going to bend it in half, so that it looks like that. And where that's going to go is where this little V is. So you have this little V, and we're going to put a little hot glue on there, and we're going to shove that right in the little V so it sticks out just a little bit, and that will be his beak. So let me put a little bit of hot glue on this. And I gotta look at them to do this, so I make sure I get it in there. And I try to put it in fairly quick because I don't want the hot glue to show. So there, we've got his little beak on there. Okay, had a little technical difficulty there. My camera turned off, it overheated a little bit, so I needed to let it cool down. All right, so back to what we were doing. We have his feet, we have his nose, we need to put his eyes on. So for the eyes, I'm using some gems. These are 5mm gems, and they are self-adhesive, but there's adhesive between them. So you need to actually cut, I have to cut them off of here and then cut between them so that the adhesive is just on the gem and not sticking them together. So I have found the best way to pick up these gems is to get like a quilting pin like this. And what you can do is hold on to the plastic and pick up the gem onto a pin. Now there's a little bit of adhesive sticking out here, so while it's on my pin, I'm just going to clip that off. And then what you're going to do is, I'm going to try and do this facing forward, but enough that you guys can see it on the camera. So I'm just going to place his eye on there, and then if I hold my finger on it, I can slide the pin out. And we're going to do the same thing for the other gem, if I can find it. There it is, it's sticking to the bird. Again, I'm going to pick it up on the pin. Again, I've got some adhesive sticking out there, so I'm just going to stick it to the pin and take my scissors and just trim a little bit of that off. Okay, and then I'm just going to pick my bird up, straighten his nose out a little bit, make sure his eyes are even, just slide it off the gem. So now we have the eyes. So before we attach him to our branch, we need to trim up his tail a little bit because it's a little raggy. So I'm just going to take my bigger pair of scissors, and I like to trim kind of from the top first because I don't want to cut the top too short. So I'm just going to give his tail a little bit of a trim, and you want some fairly sharp scissors to do this. This is probably not my best pair of scissors, but they will work. And then I'm going to just trim so he's got a nice looking tail. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's got a nice fluffy tail. It's kind of even. Get rid of my scraps. Okay, so now it's time to attach him to our branch. So these are just branches, excuse me, that we had left over from a different craft project. And, excuse me, the cording that I'm using is just a piece of cording. Somebody had donated this to the library. It's just like a natural bamboo cording. You can use any type of cording. You can use twine. You could even use another piece of yarn, whatever you want. So what I like to do is kind of figure out where he's going to sit best on my stick. And looks like right in that crook. So then I'm going to take my cording and I'm just going to tie it to each end of my stick. Actually. All right. Sorry if you hear some noise, that is my dog. Just making some noise over in the corner here while she's laying in her bed. Okay, so then we're going to tie the other end. And this is about a 20-inch length of cord. And your bird doesn't necessarily have to go on a stick. We just thought it would be kind of fun that he could hang. Okay, so then I'm going to just trim off the ends. And I don't mind that there's a little tail there. Okay, so then what we're going to do is what I did is I would take and put some hot glue here and then just put him where I want him. So what I like to do is kind of hold that up in the air and then figure out that he's going to sit. So, okay, so I'm going to put some hot glue here. Just a line of it. So you can kind of see my hot glue is on there. Then I'm going to just place him in that crook and then just push him right onto the branch. So there he is. So he will sit right on my branch. Whoop. Need to twist my knots so that they're towards the top so he doesn't tip around. And there, then you can hang him up. Again, like I said, you don't necessarily have to put him on a branch. That is entirely, it can be a branch from your backyard if you want to do something like that. They are super cute. Here's a different one that I made. They are super cute just sitting like this. I just used some variegated, I don't remember what brand of yarn this is. It was popular a few years ago. But yeah, they can just sit like that. You just bend his feet down so he stands up a little bit. So that is our project for March. I hope you liked that. Nicole will be back with a project in March. And she is doing, I believe, some window dangles, some sun catcher window dangles. So look for that in March. So thanks everybody for joining me. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the middle of the video there, but you know, stuff happens. All right, have a good rest of your day. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.